today by Aminon143, aka Rachie. You
Good
want to say
morning. Good
hello
morning.
to the idiots?
Good morning, idiots.
Don't call them
Happy
idiots.
Saturday.
Don't call them idiots. That's not nice. The people in the future audience are cool, Rachel. Gosh. Anyway, um, we were talking about Echoes of Aincrad, and she asked me a question. Do you remember what the question was?
Yeah, no, it
No, it
wasn't a
wasn't a question.
question.
She made a statement.
I said I'm surprised you did not make this multiplayer, whether online multiplayer or even local multiplayer.
And that is an essay that you're not going to find answered on the internet. You're not going to find a good reason why this isn't multiplayer. And you're not going to get a good, honest answer from the corporation. The reason it's not multiplayer is because the multiplayer elements of Demon's Soul and Dark Souls ruined the franchise. They made the franchise more hostile, more annoying, and more inaccessible than it already was. And I've already demonstrated, you've already cut 20 minutes of me showing that the game is designed to be hostile, frustrating, intimidating, and inaccessible.
Hmm.
It's just designed for that. And so what happened? What the reason that Echoes of Incrad matters, why it is connected to Demon's Soul and Dark Souls, the first two in the Souls like genre, is because they're both published by Bandai Namco. No, Echoes of Incrad isn't made by From Software. No, they're not. Totally. But they're both published by Bandai Namco. It's like how Goosebumps and Harry Potter are both published by Scholastic. Do you understand what I'm saying? And so, Demon's Soul was a directive from on high. Some corpo bigwig decided that they needed to make, Bandai Namco needed to make an RPG. And so, Demon's Soul was born. And it was acknowledged jank trash. And so when they made this second one and they hadn't figured out how to get past the acknowledged jank trash, what they did was they introduced this multiplayer element. They added, and then I think the second one added a second multiplayer element. But what you can do in that game is you can leave these messages on the ground for other players. And you go up and read that message, and it's supposed to say something like, hey, there's a hidden wall here, or hey, there's a trap coming. Well, what people do is they lie. They get you to fall into the bottomless pits, they get you to get run over by rocks, and they're just doing it to be dicks because there's no reason not to be a dick. You're not going to see the outcome, and if you see it, it's not a real person, it's their avatar in a video game. But that became a fixture of the series. But it was a directive from on high. So if you're going to fix what you got wrong, Bandai Namco, if you're going to take this series, this Souls-like genre that's become Elden Ring, if you're going to take that and you're going to look at it and you're going to realize that it's inaccessible, and anything that you take away from it to make it accessible is actually going to make it not Dark Souls anymore, and so it's actually going to just alienate your entire audience. What you have to do is you have to make Dark Souls 2, you have to make Sekiro, you have to make the other game that I know that I'm forgetting the title of, and then you have to make Elden Ring. You have to make every game after Dark Souls, the one that really sold gangbusters on the Xbox and PC, the one that didn't only do well on the PlayStation because Bloodborne was only released on the PlayStation at the time.
Hmm.
You have to take that formula and you have to just print it like money. You understand what I'm saying? If you change too much or you add too much or you delete anything from the formula, it's no longer just printing money. And so what they did is they looked at that and they realized that it sucks. It sucks, and they're known for what they're known for, but it is aggressively inaccessible. But they also own Sword Art Online, and we have been asking for a Sword Art Online game forever. So what Echoes of Aincrad has done is it's creating the feeling of playing in an MMORPG with total strangers and being locked in there. So yeah, we're gonna get into spoilers. If you don't know Sword Art Online, go watch Sword Art Online first, and then come back. I will remain here. Anyway, the internet will archive this until you get done with Sword Art Online. That'll take you 2 or 3 days. In that world, this guy makes this VR MMORPG. It's the first of its kind, and you're in a completely isolating head tank. You're in this thing that covers your eyes, covers your whole head, and it just like in the three body problem, that VR headset that they put on, where it's perfectly real. Yeah, you put that on, and now you're in Aincrad, this tower in this fantasy world. Except he made it on launch. He made it so that if you take it off, you die. If you die in the game, you die. It's real now. All these people who are trapped in it, they are trapped in it, and they will die. Eventually, their bodies will fail in the real world if they don't beat this game. And so if you have other players in it, if you have other human players in it, it reduces the urgency, and it does lend itself to it. It lends itself right to it, but it makes it so that you can't have your unique character in that world. Because if you're hooking up with friends in the world who are also doing the thing, but also know your friends and are also getting all the same quests, it breaks the illusion of the unique quests. Because that's what I keep saying this to you, even like every quest is unique, so only one person or one group can take it. So like me and my friend, we can take it, right? But nobody else in the game world is going to get it. So if there are actually 10,000 real people running around in this world all taking the same quest, it completely breaks the narrative illusion. And so that's what I was saying right before I logged off, is that you're only as free in a video game as the narrative illusion. As the freedom, you're only as free as the freedom itself is illusory. It has to be an illusion. It has to be it has to be imaginary. You aren't actually free to do certain things in Fallout 76. Like you're not free to just crack a fart, for example, right? Like you can't do a backflip. So you're only free insofar as the reality is illusory. And so this reality is entirely illusory because it's a VR world inside my character's head, and my character is completely illusory because I never see his body. He is me. And so if you have other players running around in that, it loses its immediacy. If we're running around acting like idiots, chasing one another, it completely breaks the threat, because the threat in the game world is other players. The most lethal thing in the Souls-like games, especially the Dark Souls games, is other players. Because I think it was Dark Souls 2, they actually added PvP, where you can open your world so people can just click into your world as a ghost and they can stealth kill you.
Wow.
Right. And so you don't want this it's not more of a VR world, it is only a VR world. You don't want other people running around in that, because you don't want to break the illusion of your character dying, because anytime this character dies, it's game over for his actual body. You just killed a guy. You just let a guy die. It's exactly what I'm talking about with the role play that I'm always talking about, where it's like you guys don't identify with your characters. If you don't identify with your character in this game, it completely shatters the illusion of the game world. It shatters the illusion of why you're doing the side quest to get powerful enough to not get PK'd. Is the whole first act is we have to get powerful enough not to get PK'd. Well, if you have this other player running around with you getting you killed, it breaks the illusion entirely. Game over. The game has no immersive effect at all, and it just becomes exactly what the developers are critiquing. It just becomes another mindfuck of an MMO where you just log in, do your dailies, and then for a couple of hours. That's exactly what the guy, the developer of the game, and the story and the narrative That's exactly what he's rebelling against. He says, I made this world, and now I'm going to trap you in it so that you have to play it in order to get out of it, in order to turn it off. It's a perfect narrative hook. And
Yeah.
if you have other people in it, if you have a friend jibber jabbering who's not role playing it, because she's role playing it, she's stuck there with you. So her jibber jabber, hey, it's a boar type, hey, it's a wolf type, is letting me know what's going on around in the world as I'm doing whatever. She's also letting me know what she's doing in the world while I'm doing whatever. You see what I'm saying? But if your friend is just jibber jabbering about what they did at school today instead of being immersed in the reality, which they show during the beta, that people were spending half of their time in the beta being immersed in the game and the other half talking about their school and whatever they were doing outside of work. Even when Yona, whatever, Yuri, whatever her name is, Yuri. Whenever she shows up in the release, when she shows up at release day of the actual game, she shows up late talking about, sorry, I had stuff outside of the game. And then when you talk to Cal, he's like, I've got my hands full, right? It's like they're trying to create the illusory reality that these are real people also trapped and that you have to work together. And so if you're not building your relationship by getting Yuri and your two actual real world, like your two narrative world friends, your two schoolmates, if you're not actually working on getting their weapon proficiencies better, you're not playing the game properly, which means that you're not actually going to survive to the end game. And so if you had a friend there to just make it easy and just breeze through it, and it's all ha ha la, 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 laugh, the actual horror that's built into the thing is completely lost.
I mean, they could have maybe made quests that are required to be completed by couples.
Then it becomes a different game. Sure. But the couch co-op would require a split screen because of how close the camera is. Or the camera would have to be pulled back to that angle that you don't like in games when you play them. So it would have to compromise. This is a game about not compromising. The developer is a psychopath.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's genius. The game is actually really good. But the reason they've made all these choices is because it's a Souls-like that isn't Dark Souls. So what does Dark Souls do? Dark Souls hits you with depressing shit that you can't fix. Dark Souls hits you with mechanical gimmicks that don't work. Dark Souls hits you with weapon rewards for very difficult quests that are deliberately impossible to use and underpowered. It's just over and over and over a slap in the face. Everything that it does with the narrative is not interesting. And so Bandai Namco looked around and they said, what world do we have that's actually interesting, that our actual subscribers, so to speak, have actually been asking for a really long time? And they gave me exactly what I have been asking for since Demon's Soul came out. Okay, take that, polish it up, make it animate, and make it slick. Right? It's like once more, but with feeling.
Yeah.
Something Yuri says a lot. I really like it. I really like it a lot. I really like the level design. I like that everything about it has an artist's defiance. Like, the first time I fell off a cliff and I died. And you were like, oh, well, that was an awful short cliff to die from. And it's like, yeah, but in this game world, if you die, you're dead. You are dead. They call it a death game. Over and over and over again.
That's a lot of pressure.
That's why you're not supposed to just trivialize all the challenges by just jumping into these ravines that you're not supposed to be in yet, but you've got the HP necessary or the fall damage necessary to survive it. If you break an ankle, you're dead. There is no sit around in town and heal for 3 months. You're dead. Start over. But start over doesn't get to happen. That's why they keep the rules so punishing in the beta. And that's why you're like, why is it like this? I'm like, because it's the beta. And you're like, oh, like you're disappointed in that. And it's like, that's genius. This isn't the actual beta. This is the release that I paid for. But the world plays like a beta world, so that the second time when I go out into the release and I go out and I experience it and it's getting more powerful now, it feels new every time. Exactly like MMORPGs do when cyclically every 6 or 8 years they burn their world flat and repopulate it with mobs. It's brilliant. It plays exactly like an MMORPG. It's awesome. I'm having the best time. And I've grown to really like Yori. Now that she's not a dude.
Mm-hmm. Really beautiful to look at.
It is beautiful to look at. And Enshrouded, the game I'm playing, Enshrouded is made by the people who make Portal Knights. And so institutional memory, I'm always talking about how important institutional memory is. And Rachel, do you know how I keep telling you that John Romero is going to be back in the industry soon?
Yeah.
He's going to be important in the industry soon.
Mm-hmm.
Well, id Studios, they just laid off something like 2/3 of their workforce, and people are really upset because evidently they were claiming to have moved the technology forward in some meaningful way with Doom Eternal that I didn't see a technological advancement that mattered to me. Nothing that I played in that seemed like it needed as many people as it. I think I said this game would have benefited from having the budget and the dev team size that Doom 2016, the first in the trilogy of remakes, it would have benefited from being a garage size unit. And so Xbox cut them back to a garage size unit. And John Carmichael still owns id, and John Romero is no longer a part of id. I got that backward. Carmichael fired Romero, right? And so Romero is no longer a part of the company. But Carmichael is now talking about how they still have enough people to make a fourth Doom or whatever. They still have enough people. That's not what's important. Romero is talking about how he has a bunch of source documents and industry memory that id Studios itself has lost. So when they're talking about how they've developed the tech this and that way, he has the paperwork.
Oh.
And so John Romero is trying to get a job. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He wants back in.
He has leverage.
And he has leverage. And what did I tell you? Tim Kaine. He was allowed back in. Fallout 76 is going to morph, and it's going to be something very different. Fallout 5 is going to be very different because Tim Kaine's back. And Tim Kaine has the institutional memory and the documentation. That's why he got hired back. Hironobu Sakaguchi didn't get hired back for these Final Fantasy VII Remake, etc. First of all, he didn't work on Final Fantasy VII Remake. But the Pixel remasters, they didn't get a remake because they didn't have any of the design documents. They didn't have any of the institutional documentation all the way through 10. They had to remake Titus's face for the remaster. They lost Titus and Yuna's face. They didn't even have the source and the master code for their faces. So when these people talk about preservation, for example, they don't know what they're talking about. You can't rip that data and rework it out of the disk. The disk doesn't matter. The source code matters. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Most of these companies don't have the source code for their games. CD Projekt Red, they can't get The Witcher out because they don't have the source code for the original game. And they didn't take notes about how they made it. So they don't know, right?
Yeah.
All I'm saying is that's what makes Enshrouded good. Is Enshrouded remembers how it built Portal Knights, and then they put a 3D skin on it, right? They make the models something other than the actual blocks of space that move in the game, and voila, you have what appears to be a AAA game, but it could be by a B studio. The very basics. You just get the very basics right, and you make money. And Aincrad gets all of the basics right. You wouldn't see me playing this if A, I didn't have a dagger, and B, it sucked. And it doesn't suck.
Yeah.
So I'm playing exactly the way I like. Hyper aggressive. I have 2 heals. Let's go. You have a limited amount of health, and I have a max level weapon. Let's see what I can fuck up. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm 2 levels higher than the stuff in the game on purpose because the fucking chick keeps attacking everything that comes across. That's free XP.
Mm-hmm.
And so these people who are like, oh, I'm under leveled, or oh, this game's so hard. That was the thing about Dark Souls that always upset me. It's not hard, it's punitive. All you have to do is level up, just like every other RPG. And so if you treat this like I keep trying to get you to get into WoW with me so I can show you how to treat these games. If you just treat everything you see as a gachapon of experience, you're max level in no time. And like this, I have enough crafting reagents in this that I don't even have to think about it. I just stock up and leave. You know, I've got extras. But like Simon, the reason he struggles in 7 Days to Die, or struggles in Alpha 16, the reason he struggled at these games back in the day, he refused to play them. He refused to just pick up sticks and wood and grass and thatch and berries and just have his inventory full of shit when he got back to town so he can just move back at the hub. Like, everybody wants a house, but nobody wants a hub. Even, like, you don't know this series, but the Atelier series. Atelier is like a crafting bench, but it's a French word, and so it's an alchemy game. And so what it is go out in the world, pick up all the shinies, come back, turn them into bullshit, right? Progress story,
Mm-hmm.
right? And the original game was even timed. Like, you have a certain number of days, and it takes a certain amount of time to do everything. And by the end, you're graded on how well you did. And so when you go back into play it, it's like, okay, I know this about the game, and I'm trying to get an SS rank. I'm trying to get the perfect score, right? Because Atelier Marie herself is graded as an alchemist. It's her graduating from Alchemy University course, and she has to make this thing. And so when you show up on the final day with the best thing you've made in your thing, they grade you for it. It's a brilliant 20-hour, 10-hour replay loop, however long it is, however much you engage with it, and however fast. I don't remember. But that series has always had a very limited inventory of space that your character can carry, of stuff that you can use, and a bigger but still limited basket of shit that you're carrying, a backpack of bullshit that you're acquiring as you're going out in the world. And then you come back and you dump it in your crate and you go out and you do more. In the most recent game, dropped the crate because people bitched that they had to go home to make. And it's like, your cauldron is at home. But people bitch about that in Conan too. Like Simon and Neebs bitching about how much time you actually spend in front of your workbenches in Conan. It's like, how much time do you think a blacksmith is spending in front of his anvil? Guys, role play the game. Like, I think I remember the moment that I fell out of love with the Neebs guys. They were playing something and they were bitching about it wouldn't let them do something. And they said, oh, wouldn't it amazing if games were good? And I said, oh, wouldn't it be amazing if you guys role played giving a shit just for once? And I don't think I've really watched them regularly since I noticed that. Like, role play. You guys are actors. Role play.
Yeah.
Like, even the voice actors in this struggle to role play it. That's not acting. Act like you're the character. Play like you're the character. I don't know why that's so foreign to modern gamers, besides that we just didn't arrive at video games by playing tabletop games like we did when we were younger. I know I'm not really letting you talk very much.
It's okay. I don't remember that, like, the tabletop games that I played.
I remember sitting around Monopoly and actually pretending like we were business tycoons. Actually, not just saying, hey, I've got $1,000, you want to give me whatever. Actually doing it like, what do you want for that there? Boardwalk. You know, like doing a silly voice, doing a character at the table, you know, shifting a pretend monocle like the Monopoly guy. And I just think that, I just do not think, A, it's probably not normal. Maybe it used to be. For sure, that's how adults used to engage with kids. But cartoons. And so you see it. Like we cringe when we watch movies and a dad is treating his daughter like that. Right? But then we also go, oh, that's so sexually selective. You know what I mean? So it's probably we've just lost cooperative play.
Hmm.
Not growing up on a playground where we all speak the same language and we're all working toward the same goal of playing and having a good time. Because even playground play doesn't stay that for long. I remember, the lineup. We want to play football. All the boys, let's all like line up. We're gonna play football, and for whatever reason, these two kids are gonna pick teams. It stops being about the fun of the game as soon as you're picking teams.
Yeah.
The second. We were having fun throwing the ball around, and now you assholes want to divide us up by popularity. Fuck, I'm out. It's not fun anymore. It's not about
Mm-hmm.
fun, right? It's about which of the popular friends' kids are actually good at football and which of them are just his friends. And so if you're out there and you're wide open, but you're not one of their friends, quarterback's not throwing you the ball. Fuck this game. I'm sure soccer was the same way. Intergender. Minecraft is just fun. It's fun. The threat level is high. The healing is not rare, but um, it lets you feel the crunch of using it. Now I have effectively infinite money. Um, I have 100K and stuff costs like 50, so like I have effectively infinite money. But that's about play style. That probably wouldn't be true and very hard. Actually, I have my weapon with plus XP. I have an XP bonus and a money drop bonus, so it might be.
Hmm.
I'm not fucking around. I'm trying to keep this dude alive. And the fastest way to make sure you keep a dude alive is to be max level as fast as possible. And this game isn't going to penalize me for hitting the level cap like Skyrim will.
Sounds like you're having a lot of fun.
I am.
It's good.
I am. I would recommend playing it. You said that like while you were watching it, you're like, "Oh, this looks like I would enjoy playing it." You would. It's got the 5 difficulties, so if you're like super intimidated by attacking with the trigger buttons, or the way that you can only have 2 heals except for the items that you carry, and you've played Monster Hunter, and so if you're worried about like, "Oh, I don't want to die," or "I don't want to," you turn the difficulty down till you learn the game. Turn it up. I picked normal just because I could have picked it in hard. I'd be dying. I'm trying not to die.
Yeah.
I'm trying to actually go this whole run now that the thing is up without dying. I told you I was going to. And then I'm going to try my very best to do that when I turn it up to hard and then very hard. But I already know that this is not going to be a content factory. This is not going to be something that people try to take a flyer on a channel that they've never seen before. This isn't the one. Just playing it now because I like it.
Why don't you think it's the one?
I know better.
People are just not interested.
If it hasn't happened yet, it isn't gonna. Like they say about time travel. If time travel has ever happened, it will already happen. And so if it's ever gonna happen with this game, it would have already happened. It's not gonna happen for me with this game. And so I'm just gonna keep playing it. But it's not gonna earn $20. It's not gonna earn an audience of people watching. You saw their videos. Those people are gonna get the likes. They're gonna get, and that's okay. They have their audiences. Their audiences just aren't the open-minded
Yeah.
people they think they are. They're just as closed-minded and racist as the people this game is making fun of. And so they're gonna be upset by it. They're gonna hate on it. They're gonna trivialize it because why would you want to roleplay being in this dead and dying world? Why did you buy this game? You knew what it was about. It's an RPG by genre. I don't know.
So 76 was like that you had to go and pick up all your craftables and then have to go all the way home to craft them. But they got rid of that by you pay a little extra to become a member of the game, so you pay monthly. You get a free survival tent that you can put down anywhere, and you have one of the benches.
Yep, you can pay a little bit extra to trivialize the survival of the game. I don't know who you're paying extra to trivialize the survival of reality, but that's how people think about living in the reality that we share. Well, if I just spend a little bit extra, this is easy for me. That's where tipping came from. Pay to win is everywhere, and the people who cry about it are the first ones to use it. That's why they cry about it. Because they have no resistance to it. They have to be constantly complaining about it.
Yeah.
They're constantly thinking about how they want to use it. But usually they're pores. I mean, that's how I felt about flying. I used to argue with Kat about this all the time. It's all about felt about flying in World of Warcraft. It was awesome to do. But doing it before you were so powerful that you could one-shot everything in the world, and it was annoying when it got in your way. Or so you could go to areas where things were more powerful and the loot was higher rarity and more worth it. Higher quality. Flying just made the game trivial. If you can fly over the challenge at the first level of an expansion, where's the feeling like you're going to die? Where's the feeling of exploration? Where's the feeling of achievement, of accomplishment, of competency
Mm-hmm.
in this world? Well, I just flew from quest to quest to quest. Well, where's the role play?
Yeah.
Well, I'm role playing a character who would do this. Okay.
I've been trying to recolor my thinking a little bit when I play 76 to role play it more, but they don't make it easy. It's not easy. At least it's not easy for me.
Really?
Yeah.
Why not?
I don't know. Maybe because when I was taught to play to a game, I wasn't told like, okay, you got to pretend to be this character. You're like, okay, this is your character, but it's not really you. You know?
Sure, but now that you like when you sit down, it's hard.
I mean, it's not hard to do. It's just it's hard to retrain your brain. For me,
Really?
at least, it is. Yeah. I don't know if it has to do with it. I mean, because I have a vivid imagination. It's not that I
Sure.
don't.
What does hard mean?
It means I don't. I'm not able to immerse myself to the point that I think that I'm that girl. Like, yes, I'm that girl. She's a representation of me, but I'm not really that girl. I'm sitting here on the couch. The girl's over there. It's just it's a hard flip. I don't know why. I'm trying to figure that
Well,
out.
maybe it's because she's that girl to you.
Maybe.
That girl's cone of vision is irrelevant to you.
I don't know.
It's like, what does Imanon see? What does Imanon feel? What does she want? What does she think? You don't have basic answers for that?
They do, but they're not positive. She's always angry. She wants to kill shit.
Okay.
She doesn't like to be bothered.
Okay. So why is that hard for you to role play? You don't like to be bothered?
I don't like to be bothered.
Okay. So why is it hard for you to imagine being her?
I don't know. I don't know.
That's weird to me. It's like you're walking through the street and you see a robot and she doesn't like to be bothered. And so there's no impulse in you where she's just like, I don't like to be bothered right now, robot.
I mean, I do. I talk like that sometimes, but I mean, to really like immerse myself in the actual role playing of it, maybe it takes me out of it a lot. I don't know. It's something that I'm working on. It's still a work in progress.
I know. I'm not criticizing you.
I'm trying to figure that out.
What about like Leonardo DiCaprio? Like what if he didn't believe that he was on the Titanic? Like what if he didn't pretend like it was all really happening?
Then that would make him a bad actor. And he wouldn't have been hired for the role. Because that's an actor's job, really.
Okay. So what I'm not doing is making a criticism about you or getting you to think about yourself. I want you to think about journalists and maybe other live streamers. And so if you're here, but what you're not doing is playing the game, does that make you a gamer?
I don't know. I think, well, the most. Because I just platinumed the game, and I needed to do two things to
Not
platinum the
you.
game.
I'm not asking whether you're a gamer. That's not what I said. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about other live streamers. If you're not there to play the game, to play it, like Leonardo DiCaprio played Romeo in that Romeo plus Juliet.
Mm-hmm.
Play it. If you're not there to play it, are you really a gamer? Not you. Are they really a gamer? Or are they a broadcaster and games are a convenient and affordable green screen? Is it all Hypnotoad?
I don't know.
Well, what if gamers are really aggressive and competitive, actually? Would we make good broadcasters?
I think so. Because, like, you know, these big 76 content creators, they may not be playing the game as role playing, but they're playing the game as journalists, like you just said. Right?
Well, sure, but are they aggressive and competitive?
Well, yeah, of course. They want to come out with the best builds, the best guns, the best way to kill the same thing that everybody else gets to kill. And they want to report back, like, this is what you need to use.
Are they aggressive with one another? Are they competitive with one another?
No.
No. So
No.
are they really gamers?
But together we can be competitive towards the world monster.
Toward the what?
World monster.
Toward the what?
World monster.
Toward the what?
Toward the
YouTube video algorithm. They're content creators. They're not gamers. They're interested in where you can build your house. Let me make a video of where you can build your house. They're not interested in the game. They're not sitting around talking about game mechanics.
maybe.
I mean, see, what I have never heard you sit around and talk about is the way that the different mechanics all combine together to make a compelling game.
Maybe a compelling fight, but that's not the game, right?
It could be the game, if that's the core gameplay loop. See my point?
Yeah, I see your point.
It's a game, but nobody's there for the game. You're there for different aspects of it. And then you go on YouTube and you watch people play it for you. Because what's the difference in seeing somebody build a house in a neat spot that you weren't going to go look for in the first place? That's not gameplay. That's content.
Mm-hmm.
If you're playing your game thinking about how you have to do something that's different content than what anybody else does, no wonder you can't just be Eminon. You're thinking about how many times you've watched some other more famous person than you walk down this street. No wonder you can't just skip and whistle and not give a shit. It's the first time Eminon's ever done it.
I'm actually really enjoying doing that.
Am I not making a point?
Yeah. Point made.
I'm not trying to bully you around and change your mind. I'm just asking, like, am I not making a point? Are you not enjoying the game more? Just trying?
Mm-hmm.
Because then the mechanics start to click together, and it's like maybe Eminon just also hates the fiddliness of this particular weapon, and so she uses this one because it's more reactive. Well, now you have a roleplay reason for why you use the weapons that you use. Engagement, and then it turns out, oh well, my build actually reflects the way I play my character. That's roleplay. It's still roleplay. It's how you play. It's like you liked to play bloody. And everybody was like, oh, it's not meta. It's roleplay though.
Yeah. I do miss playing bloody.
Same.
They did fix that, but I've gotten so used to not being bloody that I haven't gone back to it. But that bloody was broken for a while. Not because other creators decided it wasn't meta, it's just because Bethesda decided that it wasn't. We were too overpowered, maybe. So they had to ran our parade.
All I'm trying to say is that my show's not going to pop up because I'm going to bully them about how this is better than Dark Souls, actually. And this is really good, actually.
Yeah.
Because I'm a gamer. And so I'm going to walk into a room and go, nope, I got 10,000 more hours than you on this machine alone. You're wrong about everything you're saying. And I'm going to be the only person in the room with any real clout. But that's why I'm in the room now.
Mm-hmm.
So this one ain't going to work. Gamers aren't supposed to like bright colors and anime haircuts.
Character creation was super fun though. Beautiful.
I made a stunningly ugly and deeply short man. I don't know if there was a height slider, but we missed it. My dude is 2 inches shorter than Yori.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Tiny little man. He's a small man. With small hands. I don't want these anymore. I didn't want the first one. And I really like the weapons proficiency paths. I think I'm actually getting abilities by using my abilities. Or I think my abilities are getting better as I use them. Something like that. Everything that I do in the game makes me better at the game, and I like that. I like that so much.
That's the way it should be, right?
Huh?
That's the way it should be.
Should be.
That's what experience is.
And see, the experience grows for, like, okay, so the stat that you get called experience, that goes to your stats. So your intelligence, dexterity, constitution, whatever. You level up and you get to spend X number of points per level on that. And then you get proficiency points with your weapons, and that's another bar of experience that goes up. And then I think that each skill along that also has a proficiency experience. And so, yeah, everything that you use, that's how experience in real world, taken apart from the game mechanical mathematics, that's how it works. It's cumulative.
Yeah.
And so I love that everything in this game is cumulative, and that they have such a simple and intuitive way that if I pick up like a green item, see, I've got my level 8 dagger right here that I've spent all this time leveling up and made good, and then I find a green trash item that has a stat effect on it that I actually really want. I can synthesize. I can scrap that item, take the stat, and swap it onto my current weapon. That is so intuitive and allows me to have a reason to look at all my trash before I trash it. It's awesome. I like it a lot.
Mm.
It invites itself to be played. And I also like how it is an open world, but every mission, every quest has a set path that you're allowed to explore of the world before, okay, you're just deviating from the quest now. Because that's how these open worlds go, right? It's like I've got that there, and so I'm going to zigzag, and I go, oh, and I look, I got my, and then that's how those paths always go. And then people always complain about it. They'll blog about it, or they'll make videos about how, oh, I never actually did anything in the game, which is their fault. And they don't just take ownership of that, right? And then they'll quit the game. And that's what this keeps talking about. The beta kept talking about retention metrics and how the beta, because it was the demo, the beta and the demo had to have, it had just been loaded with retention metrics because he was trying to get 10,000 people to show up so he could lock them down in it. It's all game world, but it's critical of the players playing it. It almost says, you're not going to like this. Shut it off. In the same way that Dark Souls did. And Dark Souls had balls for that. You, that's why it became as legendary as it did, was the balls. And so it goes right into the same spot. It has all the same dialogue. Like Cal won't hang out with us because Yori's too much of a noob, but she's for sure either going to die or going to get him killed. And so he doesn't want to be around to see it. That makes sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, I have too much going on to hang out with your noob ass. That's what gamers are actually like.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but I'm a gamer who's become a streamer because I'm also funny and good in front of a microphone. But like there's a section of my audience that just are never going to get it, that I'm just busy. And so it's never going to grow like that with this one. Like maybe when I'm playing it very hard and people are like interested and they know the context, but this game isn't going to get big enough. This one isn't going to hit the top 10. Like it's not going to hit on the radar. It's going to be niche, and that's okay. I like niche games. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It reminds me of the best of Kingdoms of Amalur, straight up, and it reminds me of what I want from. I want Monster Hunter Wilds. I want Monster Hunter in general. I like the daggers in Monster Hunter because they're more reactive. I just want it to be more reactive in general. I like the daggers. I like playing Monster Hunter Wilds. That's something that I enjoy watching you play too. You need to get back to that too, because when you don't do that, I don't read, and then they don't get the second half of these books. But yeah, Aincrad reminds me of all the best of games circa 2012. The only thing it doesn't have is something that it can't have, and that's text-based engagement with the quests. And it can't have that. People will turn it off. Too dumb.
Hmm.
They're already skipping everything and failing the boss fights.
Yeah.
They're just struggle busting. They're just we used to call it face rolling. Face rolling the keyboard. That's where you could literally just bang your face into the keyboard and still beat a boss fight. That's what we used to call easy boss fights in WoW. Or when you got too high level for it, we used to call you face roll this. See what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That's how journalists and the majority of people, especially live streamers, that's how the majority of people play these games. They just face roll. they just face roll. And so I'm trying to do something elegant and interesting. I figured very few of the people who are going to play live are going to play with daggers. And if it turns out somebody comes into my chat and it's like, oh, I just watched Doodaloo play with daggers, I'll be like, okay, well, what didn't anybody play with? I'll play that and be good at it. Whatever. And I keep asking, like, who else took an all int build? There aren't int weapons. There isn't an int stat that makes you better. All it does, it gives you passive bonuses to your XP and your gold and the amount of items that you can carry around. I don't actually use the items. I just want the XP and the gold because you get max level. You dump that, you respec, and you put it in your actual build. How many people do you think are playing like that live?
Yeah.
How many people do you think are actually playing smart and efficient like they've played an MMO before? Probably very few of them have actually been elite in an MMO before. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I'm bringing a completely different perspective to this game. And so one of the things that I really like about it is that the elite players in this game behave and talk like elite players in the games that I've played. WoW, EverQuest. I like that. I like it a lot. Nobody really cares anymore. Just nobody really cares, but it is superbly well written. It allows me to role play. And you've heard me complain about this, actually. You guys, if you watch my streams, you've heard me complain about this in video games where the NPCs are talking, and I can't get a word in edgewise. It actually gives space in the dialogue where it cuts to my character and I can have thoughts about what's happening and I can express them to the game. It is so superbly written. So superbly written and paced. I haven't been like, let's get this over with in a single dialogue yet. That's not easy to do, evidently. And I don't know who this company is that made it. I know that Bandai released it. I don't know who made it. No idea. But that's hard. Writing like that, that's hard. Especially with anime characters. Because I'm already going to be like, anime character about it all. Let's get this moving. You're an anime character. You know? But they've done such a good job. They've knocked all of my suspension of disbelief barriers down. Knowing that that's what she looks like outside the game and that's what I look like outside the game means these aren't anime characters anymore. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They look like that, cel shaded like that because they're VR representations of what we actually look like. It's fucking immersive. I like it. I used to be just like you. You can go back on my channel and hear me talk about it before you get. No, you can't. You can. But if it were still there, you guys, if you did this, you could go back and watch me talk about video games and listen to me saying this in the early days. I used to be that guy who couldn't role play in games. I thought I was that guy who couldn't role play in games. And then I started talking in the live streams and I started arguing with Gemini and I started talking with people in comments and I started observing other people. And it's like, oh, I've been role playing at an exceedingly high level. The games haven't left space for me to role play. And I'm not saying that 76 hasn't left room for you to role play because that's a passion project that was supposed to be a great big empty role play world.
Yeah.
And you have nostalgia for that. And you didn't even play it during that time. I see you get all misty-eyed for the patch 0.0.0.01.
I played it in the beginning.
Oh, did you play it in the beta days?
Yeah.
The very early days?
There were no NPCs.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that about you. You got gamer cred. You're hardcore. You're allowed to be annoyed about what the game has come. You need to say that. I was there in the beginning, and this is not what I fucking spent all this money and,
I wasn't.
all
I
this
hated
effort
it.
on.
I couldn't figure it out. I struggled with it. I quit I don't know how many times.
And they should have made it, instead of making it easy, they should have just made it accessible. All you have to do is give me a reason to go out and do this stuff.
Yeah, I quit over and over until the pandemic when I really dove into it. But before I was there, I mean, I bought it like release day, physical copy, and the book. But they don't make it anymore.
I have absolutely no grudge against people who want physical copies. The onus is just on Bethesda to release them. Sony's just not releasing theirs. That doesn't mean that they're not going to still release physical media.
I kind of wish I wouldn't have got rid of it now.
Got rid of the physical copy.
In the book, yeah, I sold it with a PS4.
It's just a memory.
Be nice to have it.
It's just an artifact. Just
Nice.
clutter.
Be nice to have it though.
And you can put it up on a shelf.
Yeah.
Yes. That's what the shelves are for. That's what we made them for. Is to put knick-knacky bullshit that we don't actually need. But it reminds us of where we are. Like, it broke my heart when I lost my World of Warcraft Cataclysm box digital deluxe or box deluxe set collector's edition.
You lost it. Lost it.
Yeah, cat made me abandon it.
Oh.
It's not the access that we want. It's the artifact. And what we misunderstand is the difference in artifacture and artifice. Artifacture, artifactiness, artifact manufacture, we do that. We turn a thing into an artifact by applying some sort of emotional or intellectual or psychological or spiritual significance to it. The book wasn't significant, right? But you apply significance to the book in the hard copy because they represent something. And you know what they represent? Evidence that you were there. You see what I'm saying? So the artifact is the artifacture is something that we do, but the artifice is the effort that went into the code that was on that disc and in that book. And we're less concerned about that. You're not concerned about that at all. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like on the disc and on the store, and it's all on the hardware ultimately. Whether it's the PlayStation 4, 5, PC, cloud, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And so the people who are arguing about wanting access to the code, they're trying to artifact the digital space. And that, in the minds of the developers, is wild stupidity. That's not a real world. It's not a real space. The time and the effort and the energy that you did, and most often the people who are upset about games not actually being available anymore are people who put off playing them, and now they have the FOMO. Not even the FOMO, the MO, missed out. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And those are the people who, if you actually break it down, like the people who were mad, like Kingdom Hearts, one of the Kingdom Hearts mobile games was recently taken offline. Or the Final Fantasy Resonance is a Final Fantasy mobile game that was taken offline. The people who are complaining about it, if you actually listen to their complaints, if you actually dive into the source of their complaints, they're people who spent 0 minutes in it. They liked knowing that they had access if they wanted it. And so it's what I always say. It's not that they want the thing. They just want you not to. They didn't want to play the Kingdom Hearts or Final Fantasy games on the mobile. If they did, they would have. The people who did, they got what they got out of it. It was obviously dead. How much more time can they really spend in a mobile game? And how mad are we really about mobile games? And they go, all preservation. We want to keep it available forever. Then buy the servers and set it up. You do it. It's only $1 billion a year. I'm sure you can get that money together. Random guy on the internet. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
No, we're in a good place because Namco or Bandai Namco they're correcting for their mistakes by looking to the titans of the industry, Capcom and Nihon Falcom. I keep saying it. It's Capcom, Nihon Falcom, and everybody else. Bandai publishes manga and action figures but they have all these video game wings. Because in the 90s, you've watched these documentaries now, in the 90s,
Mhm.
video games were toys still. It was toy companies who owned them, or tech companies. But they were for kids,
Yeah.
marketed to kids, made for kids, with tech inside for kids. Bandai Namco, they make manga and anime, action figures. Like that's, I could be entirely wrong about the owner of the copyright, but that's like Bandai Namco are making Dragon Ball Z and Power Rangers. They're making things like He-Man, Voltron, action figure cartoon crossovers. It's all it ever was. And so when they became video games, it was for video game and peripheral crossovers, right? Nothing wrong about that, but that's teens. You're aimed hardcore at teens. And so being upset that being in your 30s or your 40s and being expected to be savvy like a 30 or a 40-year-old in the market and to not want the things that you wanted when you were a teenager, being upset about that is, to me, staggering foolishness.
Yeah.
And I never suffered a fool gladly. Ever, not once. I'm not calling you foolish. You know that, right?
Mhm.
I'm not encouraging you to look inside and see that this is about you in some way. I'm actually thinking about the neckbeards in my comments. People like Ollie. Yeah, of course he wants his physical media, but of what? There's no way he's still a PlayStation exclusive gamer. There's no way. He's got the guys, he's got the processing power of a PC. There's no way that he's not one of these people pressuring Squeenix to release on PC. There's no way he's not. I refuse. I refuse to believe it is so easy to maintain PlayStation Clout. I did it in the tent. Maintain PlayStation brand loyalty clout just by gaming on the controller. Why? You saw it. It is an active defiance against Xbox still because Xbox is ubiquitous. Even with Steam, assumes an Xbox controller. There is still social clout associated with playing PlayStation because it used to be the thing that Sega actually marketed itself as. PlayStation used to be the punk alternative in gaming. And what was punk about it is that the games were hard, they were fun, and they were doing their best to be grown up adjacent. But that's PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, man. PlayStation 3 is a completely different beast. It wanted to be what the Steam box is. It wanted to be a PC in your living room, and they did it by attaching Blu-ray technology to it. And Echoes of Minecraft is about 2012. It's about the year 2012. They said it in 2022, but it's about the year 2012. I remember being wigged out that PCs didn't have a disk drive anymore, but that was because I had artifacted what a disk drive meant, a CD-ROM drive. Going from the external floppy, you remember that, the
Mhm.
external floppy plug-in, to having one in the machine, to now having a CD-ROM and the disk drive, to no longer needing the disk drive, and oh wow, CD-ROM is irrelevant to us now. I remember that, but I remember going, oh wow, we're in the future. Hard media is gone.
Yeah.
We don't need it. It's too expensive to print. They're already losing money selling it. Rachie goes and you say it and you're here. You can say it. She goes $70 steep every time.
That's ridiculous. I
So,
still think it's ridiculous.
but they're still taking a loss. That's the wild part. is that we've known for decades that they're taking a loss selling us this code for only $60 or $70, and then we're going to ask them to also put it on discs that don't sell. That's so childish.
Yeah.
It's so childish. It just demonstrates not you, not your position.
Mm-hmm.
Their position demonstrates a total lack of understanding of how to keep their favorite things made. It's like I said about Kingdom Hearts. If you want Kingdom Hearts 4, if you want spin-offs, if you want more, you gotta buy it. You gotta buy it, you gotta buy the peripherals, you gotta buy the everything. You gotta buy it. And you gotta buy it now, and you gotta stop bitching about it. The more you bitch about it, every single bitch makes the final product, less likely to be released. Every single one. Because those people who red and green light these games, they are the insecure kid. They're always the insecure kid that you knew in high school, constantly changing his hair and his clothes and his shoes and his teeth and his, you know what I'm talking about, that person who just didn't have a personality outside of the most recent negative thing said about them. And if you're that person, I'm not making a negative criticism of that guy. I'm saying that we know that person and we need to just remember them as we're making our arguments. That if we say anything negative about the thing that they made, the next thing is only going to be the things that we said we didn't like, and it's only going to be reacting to them, and it's going to forget what we did like, because that's all they heard.
Yeah.
And that's what this game is about. The prologue of this game is about telling you that that's not what Kayaba's like. And how freeing and liberating that is in the game world. And they're right, it is. It is freeing and liberating as a player to sit down at the table with a dungeon master who has a vision. It is. And that's why it's not multiplayer. Because that detracts from the vision. Kayaba doesn't actually want us collaborating. He wants us to kill one another. See what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's genius.
Makes sense. Thank you for addressing my question.
It was a good
or
question.
Comment.
It was a good comment. And I gave her more in-depth backstory before we did this thing that I didn't talk back through. But it was a good comment because it lends itself instantly to you just dropping in and playing as my dude. It does.
I mean, when you have a party that's following you around, why couldn't that be a couch co-op?
Because then it would have to be split screen, and they've already said that they're just not going to do it because it's extra. You remember?
No, I know that now, but I'm saying like games like that you have a party that follows you around.
It lends itself instantly to it. I agree. I do not disagree.
Like if you're going to be solo, then play solo. Why do you need these two people following you around?
That's the story.
Yeah.
That's
I get it now, but that was
well, you haven't
question.
watched the story. You're not role playing the experience. That's the story. That's what they're saying. Is they said to you when you first get in and you know what's going on. You're in this death game. You're a soloist. You're also a silent protagonist, but you're a solo player who is in the beta soloing it. You have these two friends who do not like to engage in combat. They like to hang out in town and fuck around in the market. That's what they like to do. They got instantly blasted and dead in the first combat encounter when you were playing in the prologue. You come across Yori who's saying, oh, I'm good at this, I'm good at this, I'm good at this. But Yori has the new gear that you get from the pre-order. So Yori is overestimating her skill throughout. And so those three, when you get into the four of you get this little house together or whatever, you like get together and you're sitting down and they say, okay, this is super dangerous. And then one of the characters is like, yeah, but we can fight the trash mobs. And one of the characters goes, yeah, but the trash mobs aren't the problem. Other players are going to be our problem. And then it flashes to the first conflict you actually come across, you and Yori, is these two chicks who are PKing, like I said to you. These two chicks who are working in collusion. The people who are working together, multiplayer, are hurting other people. That's the culture of this game. The people who work together exploit the game to hurt other people. And so you're a soloist. and they're like, okay, we're all solo. Any two of us need to stay in town because you can't be PK'd in town. You cannot die in town.
Right.
And so if we're going to leave, we need to leave in a buddy system. And so you have this person who comes with you. And yeah, it lends itself to couch co-op, but nobody's going to want to play on their console and join your game to play your person who doesn't get better through gameplay. Just like Adventures of Elliot is gonna lag because who's gonna join your game to play as this fairy? It's a different game. It's very cool. It's emergent gameplay. It's neat, but who's actually going to engage in it? Zero people. Almost nobody is going to actually do it. We made something unique, and it didn't get any pop either, as unique as it was. You see what I'm saying? It's about who the people are, who the people watching these games are, who the people playing these games are, the people in the audience. It's just going to take me time to teach people about what role play really is. And so if you split screen, it's already, you've cut the beauty and the smooth and the slickness of the game in half. And if you're joining in the game to play my game, what's the point in having these characters so amazingly well written? We're just piloting a game that's playing itself instead of being immersed in a reality. And then if you can put your character in my game, there is a non-zero chance that your character or my character is going to be significantly more powerful than the actual challenge of the quest we've done. And like I began with, it completely shatters the illusion of the unique quests. If you're further along in the game than I am, and then you join my game as as your character to do the quest that I'm doing, shatters the illusion that was unique for you.
Yeah.
Just completely gone. And so now any amount of multiplayer in this shatters the illusion of the game, of being a soloist in this giant hostile world of 10,000 people. You know that your people, Yori and the other two, Wiseman and the chick whose name I haven't learned yet, you know that they're not hostile, but everybody else outside of town is potentially hostile, and that just makes for a more fun world. So again, if you and I are just hopping around like idiots, having a good time, totally shatters the illusion of how serious this is. You can't role play with the other person there. I think the reason that they don't have any drop-in multiplayer at all is because they looked at their game and they realized that it would make it significantly less fun. Because it made it significantly less fun to play Dark Souls. It just did. If I'm not the only person running around in this world as a player character, then it's ruined. Even like World of Warcraft even struggles with that. People don't take anything but the raid quest seriously because everybody can do those. And they're always the same. Everybody that runs up to this guy is going to kill 5 boars today. You know what I'm saying? It kind of breaks the immersive reality.
Mm-hmm.
How many boars does this guy need, and how much money does this guy actually have? And then so that the game is, and yeah, like the immersive world building of the game rules, which is something that you've already said you have a real hard time submitting to and immersing yourself in. But the immersive narrative gameplay rules are exactly built for soloists. It is deliberately and beautifully, perfectly recreating my actual lived experience in 20 years of multiplayer, massive multiplayer online role-playing games. I was a soloist, but sometimes there are challenges that you do need a team for. So why do you have a team? Because they're a thriving world of 10,000 minus however many people have actually died players who need to team up to kill this thing too, because they can't accomplish their quest on the opposite side of that thing either. And if I die out here, none of them's going to know. They're just going to see my blip go away. And what? The 3 of them were sitting safely in town while I was out struggling for what? See what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The answers are in the world. If you play the game, if you actually listen to what the characters are saying, and we talk about this all the time. It's about reading comprehension. It's about narrative comprehension. It's about comprehending the key words that are being said to you. It's about taking in the words that you're hearing and then translating them for meaning in real time as they're happening. So what does it mean that she said that? Oh, okay, it means this, that, in everything that you do. And the reason I do it so quickly is because I've been doing it for so long. But like, this game is subtle, and it can teach you a lot about even that. You can learn how to engage with the real people in your lives by playing this game because of how sensitively and emotively they're written. It's really good. It's really good.
I'm glad you're enjoying
And it's more than just a playable TV show. In fact, I've been a little bit miffed even at the how truncated the cutscenes are and how few apart they are, because it's in an anime world. I really thought I was to be sitting and watching a lot of anime, and I'm not. And I'm not annoyed about it, but there have been a couple of times where it's like, oh shit, I gotta finish this bowl. I thought that was gonna be a hell of a lot longer scene. You're not rewarded with cutscenes in this game. I like that a lot.
it.
I like that a lot. You know I like that.
Yeah.
That's exciting to me. Drop me in a world, let me play it, give me cutscenes, but not as rewards. Just move the story along as necessary. And give me a great big fucking this will move the story along icon, which they've done. You have your main quest and your side quest. Main quest will move the story along, side quest you can't miss. So I can't fuck up this save like I did Elliot. See what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I like that. I like that a lot. They played their game. They played their game with evidence that they've played other games. And there's human design all over this. It's designed for the people who bitched about human design in video games. It's designed for them to go home, to send them away. So the people who are like, oh, anime fans hate this. Oh, we don't like this. Oh, here are the super weapons. Oh, here's a blah, 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 blah. All of those people are deliberately playing it wrong. It'd be like watching, I don't know. We've been talking about the Titanic. It'd be like watching Casablanca, but through your asshole. It's doing it wrong on purpose. How much are you really going to take from it, and how much are you going to retain?
Yeah.
But that's nerd and gamer culture, though. Nerd and gamer culture, since I was a little kid, definitely since you were a girl, has been deliberately about not taking the moral, not learning. I'm sure you remember girls in school. I'm sure you remember doing this, being like, I'm deliberately not going to take this seriously and learn from it in this moment.
Mm-hmm.
That's nerd culture. No, nerd culture, though, as much as it wants to dress itself up in video essays.
Would you like some breakfast?
I probably should, but I don't really want to put more food in my belly.
Yeah.
It hurts. It feels like it's all sloshy.
Okay.
I got just lots of food in here.
Turn it off.
I love you very much. When's your next thing? When is your next thing?
The next thing
Mm-hmm.
that I have to do today, you mean? 10 o'clock, I gotta get up and go to see my parents.
Okay. You said you weren't waking up, and that's exactly why you said you weren't waking up. I'm glad we did this.
Yeah. I got an internal clock. I didn't want to wake up, but here I am.
Sure. We can call this, I titled it Discussing Aincrad. It's not a review. You can't review this game the way it's done in the industry. You cannot review this game with a demo and 20 hours and a pot of coffee. You just can't. You can't. The people who are doing so, they can't write down spoilers. So when I talk about, oh, the characters talk about this and they talk about that, that's all going to be considered spoilers by stupid people. No. No. It doesn't spoil the game. It gives you a reason to play it. It's like, God bless him. I love Mr. S. And this is not a negative criticism. But when I ask him, like, what's the game about? He can't tell me the premise of why the character is doing what they're doing. He starts at the mechanical. What are you, the player, doing? That's not his fault. You see what I'm saying? We no longer play these games like we did when we were little. And when I mean gamers as a group, were young, when it was still very new. Like Rachel knows now. asteroids, like those kids sneaking into computer labs all over the country in the 70s to play fucking asteroids. Why? To role play being an asteroid guy, the guy in a spaceship. What do you tell people you're doing? Oh, we're blowing up asteroids. There's a guy in a spaceship. What you don't say is, oh, you move the joystick and you press button. That's not how you describe asteroids. How do you describe Mario? You don't say you press right in A. You say you're a little plumber guy with a dumb mustache. He goes, woohoo! And you jump on Goombas and shit. You don't even talk about the end objective. It's just to get to the right of the screen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know? You see what I'm saying? Echoes of Aincrad is a game where you play a guy trapped in a VR reality. And that VR reality that he's trapped in just happens to be the most hardcore MMORPG at the time of release. And they set it in 2022 so that if it lags in gameplay mechanics by 2026, the narrative world is 2022. So everything that's happened in the interim didn't happen yet in this game world. But you play a guy trapped in there. What you do is what you do in an MMORPG. It's what you do in a video game. But the goal is to beat the video game because the completion of the video game sets everybody in the video game free. So you're saving a world.
Yeah.
But they're also real people whose lives really matter. And so there's no white lives matter, black lives matter here. You know? It's like I said, I'm really impressed with how dark and how many dark preset characters they had. That's not inclusivity. That's not there just for inclusivity. That's an assumption that dark-skinned people are going to play your game. That's not inclusivity. You understand the difference? That's a philosophical colorblindness. Not saying we got to make sure this color's in the game and this color's in the game. It's giving a human color palette because you assume that people of every color are going to have fantasies of being any color. Hey,
Yeah.
Jar. You see what I'm saying? I wanted to play a black dude. That was my first impulse. Holy shit, I can play a black dude? That was my first move because it used to be so rare. Has absolutely nothing to do with wanting to role play or fantasize. No inner urban fantasy, nothing like that. It was just, holy shit, I could not do this in 2012.
Yeah.
Or the sliders for the women's bodies that are actually what women's bodies look like. And Rachel and I being able to have a legitimate 5 or 7 minute conversation about that one woman's hips relative to the other because she was taller and thicker. And I was just like, wow, okay, that's really impressive. These body sliders are usually not human. That's cool.
Yeah, the character creation was pretty cool.
The character creation was one of my favorite in any video game ever. I really spent a long time agonizing over it, like really thinking about it. And then their conceit for, I'm not going to spoil it, but the conceit for how the character creation actually plays out in the game is really cool. And I had forgot about it until about 3 minutes before the game announces it. SAO, the actual anime, addresses that too, and I completely forgot about it. They did such a good job burying that lead and taking me out of everything I remember about the actual anime while also following the plotting of the anime. But see, the anime... I'm doing great, Jar. It's great to see you, buddy. The anime, I really liked the anime because the anime lent itself to letting you think about what it would be like to exist in this world. What would it be like? I love MMORPGs. What would it be like if one day I logged into WoW and I couldn't log out until I beat the expansion? There's a... Huh?
Exhausting. It would feel exhausting immediately.
The characters,
overwhelming, I should say.
Characters, many of the characters in the anime, that's like your characters at home. They don't want to leave because they're emotionally overwhelmed by the threat. What if for just a minute I'm not good at this game? because now it's your real reflexes. Now it's your real brain. It's no longer a video game.
Yeah.
What if it just, and so that actually did happen. If I remember the anime correctly, the anime is old enough now that I'm not spoiling it. There is a section of that 10,000 people who don't go out as elite gamers to beat the game. They panic and stay in the city and become vendors, and basically they become NPCs. It's brilliant. The anime, you could really tell that the writer had thought about it, but that he had thought about specific things to keep the narrative moving, but that he had thought about enough of the world building that, to me, the fact that it's taken this long for a single player RPG that's actually legitimate to come out in the universe is a real bummer. It's like that we only got 3 Star Wars movies in the 80s. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But in the 80s, that was enough. Right?
Yeah, when SAO came out, we wanted more of the anime. But on some level, it's like you look back and you really think about it, and it's like, damn, there should have been more. Should have been a video game. There should have been tie-ins. There should have been more higher quality novels. There should have been more TV shows. There just should have been more of the thing. And Sword Art Online, there should have been more of it. The reason that it got panned is because the ending is not good. The ending of the anime is not good. And then the sequel series was dumb. I wanted them to go back into. I know why they didn't, but it was dumb and it lost its stakes. That is evidence of what I'm saying, that he made enough of the world building to tell a particular story. And that's what also happens when you make anime and manga. You don't write it for a sequel. You tell exactly what you need to tell, the meat and potatoes necessary to get the damn thing published. And then when we like it and we go more, you're like, I didn't think about more. There is no more. And so this, Echoes of Aincrad, lets you play 2 people who aren't the characters in the manga or in the anime. And so it lets it take a different path. And so I'm almost hoping it has a different ending. You know what I mean? If it has a different ending, I can stand up here and say, this is actually one of the best RPGs made in the last 30 years. This is, so far, put it this way, it's better than Final Fantasy VII, and it's way better than Final Fantasy VII Remake. Head and shoulders better. It hasn't put me through a single pornographic scene yet.
Yeah.
I haven't said one time, why is your back bent in that way? Not once. The upskirts, you can tell that those are accidents and freaks of the camera. They're not deliberate blocking. You see what I'm saying? That matters to me. It doesn't have to matter to you, but it matters to me. I'm having a much better time in this than I've had in anything that Square has released in 3D that I can think of since Nier Automata. It reminds me of Nier in a positive way as well. Replicant. It reminds me of Replicant in a positive way as well. The weapon switching, the different classes of weapons, all having a different play style, but not being called a class. I really like that. If you're going to go classless, I like the weapons having a different locked play style. I like that a great deal. And I like that the weapons have so much crossover. Like the heavy hammers are a different stat than the heavy swords. And the swords are a different stat than the daggers and the rapier. The rapier is somewhere between them. I like that. I like that the mace weapon is a different stat setup than the sword. I like it. You can really tell that they spent their time and their energy mathematically on the things that the players were going to do. So I'm always this guy, but I have access to all of the gear that I've made. I have this wardrobe, so I don't have this secondary inventory. I don't have to worry about throwing away or selling or remaking or whatever, for whatever reason, losing armor that I've had in the past. So it becomes a loadout, like in Helldivers or Call of Duty, where it's like, okay, I want to play with this weapon and my gear that goes with it. I don't have to worry about whether I do or don't have it anymore. The swords I can sell and I can lose, but my armor I can't. I like that.
Yeah.
A lot. I like that. Because then I put on my weapon and I change my bracers, and it's like, well, do I want to change my breastplate and my legs and my shoes to go along with it? I may as well look, and I have all my old gear, and it's not taking up inventory slots anywhere. Love that.
Yeah, that's cool.
I love that. But I've been saying for a minute, I was actually having this conversation with Mr. S either last night or the night before, or yesterday morning or the night before, that I'm surprised that RPGs haven't used the extraction model. And in fact, I'm surprised that these extraction games like Helldivers and PUBG and Fortnite, extraction game. They drop you in, you do the mission, they pull you back out. Extraction game. I'm surprised that that's not been the loop in single player RPGs the whole time. But you heard me say that. That's what they tried to do even with Dragon Age. I've been saying this, the hub. Go back to the hub where you do all your crafting and all your house. Blah, 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 blah. But nobody wants to actually use it that way in these open world games. It's wild and insane to me. Especially when you got fast travel.
Yeah.
And so all I'm saying is that Echoes of Aincrad, it addresses all of these issues. It addresses all of them thoughtfully. I'm not saying it gets all of them right and that it should be the industry standard. But I've been talking a lot about Sly Cooper and how much it got right and how much of the things that it got right weren't actually idiosyncratic to it. They were just solving problems that they had for their game. And Aincrad has arrived at a similar place to me, where if everything began to ape Aincrad in the same way that everything aped Dark Souls, you would never hear me complain about a $60 purchase ever again. I don't know who made Aincrad, but so far, I'm like 12% of the way through your game. I just got into Act 1. So far, A+. I don't care what happens between now and the ending. That's not going to change my opinion because it's so well written. The ending now hinges on whether you keep that A+ or whether it's an A+ and an asterisk. A+ gameplay experience until the last 2 hours is not what I want to say. But you've heard me say that a bunch about the Shadow of Mordor and Shadow of War, right? A+ gameplay until the end. And the ending, the developer gets this wrong. The average developer gets this wrong. The beginning is how we are introduced. If you have a bad beginning, we won't get to the middle because we won't suffer through it. We have shit to do with our lives. The ending determines whether we play it again. Rachel's not likely to boot up Final Fantasy X to see that kiss in the swamp and Macalania Lake. She's not likely to boot it up to play the game for that because she's never going to watch the ending ever again.
No.
You see what I'm saying, developers? If you're out there and you're listening, and I believe that you are, if you want us to play your games and you want us to be obsessed and you want us to give you the A+, and you actually want us to buy the peripherals and the peripherals means all of the action figures and the music and the yada and the yada. If you want us to do that and you want us to pre-order the sequel, the ending is the only thing that matters. Watch Secret Window. Seriously, Stephen King got there way ahead of me. The ending is the only thing that matters. If the ending is bad, we won't watch a second time.
I think if they would have made the alternative ending the actual ending and the actual ending the alternative ending for Final Fantasy X, I'd be more inclined to play it.
You mean 10-2? The way it ends in 10-2, where they have the little house together on the beach?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. If that had
like
been...
make the sad ending the alternative ending.
Yeah, make the sad ending the you didn't finish the game bad ending.
Right.
Exactly like Yoko Taro or that is exactly what I have been advocating in every game. If you don't approximate a 100% clear, you get a sad, confusing, and depressing ending. Just like in Elliot. It's wild to me It's wild to me that that hasn't translated to you guys. It's my fault. But I've been saying that the whole time. Let me show you these games where they get the ending exactly right. They give you a shitty, unresolved ending if you blow through the game. But if you get something approximating 100% of the content they wanted you to see, you get this awesome, mind-blowing, life-changing ending. I've been advocating for that in every single game. That should be 100%. That should be industry standard. And if I'm upset, Rachel's going, but only 3 directors actually do that, huh? And I'm upset. But what I need to go is only 3 developers actually do that, huh? But I'm over here being aggressive and competitive and challenging the developer, and you're going, but I'm just trying to watch a radio show. And it's like, yeah, but Rush Limbaugh gets to do this about politicians. Why can't I do it about what I'm passionate about? Rant over. Thank you for liking my takes. CO999. I have never played Sly Cooper. I have never played Sly Cooper. I watched my buddy Mr. S play the first one, and I watched him play the first chapter of the second one, and I was blown away by the design documentary at the end of the first one, where they explain how many of the design choices they made, they weren't made up. They didn't come up with them themselves. They just figured out a way to make their game that they wanted to make work using things that were already out there in the universe, and then actually looking at the game that they made and realizing that it's the Ubisoft game. It's the Ubisoft loop. We should be calling the Ubisoft loop the Sucker Punch loop, and we should absolutely be confused why Ghost of Tsushima isn't as fun. It's not about as good, because we'll go, oh, but it's got this efficient story, and look, it looks like a samurai movie from the 1950s, and I go, okay, but Sly Cooper looked like a Looney Tunes game. It was fun. More importantly, it was fun. Where did that go? Those are questions that we should be asking. Those are the questions that the video game, the conversation should be. When we gather as gamers, those are the questions we should be asking. When we go to E3 as just gamers, we should be asking, but yeah, okay, but you guys, you know how to do this.
You know how I feel about the video games and the whole fun thing.
Why isn't it fun first?
Yeah.
If you make a fun game, we will play it. Fortnite. The people who play it, I have never booted it up for a single second. The people who play it think it's fun. Minecraft. I think it's fun to dig that way until I can't anymore because my inventory is full, and then to walk it back to the end of that way, and dump it in a chest, and turn to a right angle, and dig that way until I can't anymore, and then do that until I'm bleary-eyed, and what I've arrived at is an infinitely large space of regularly spaced columns and torches that just blows and boggles the mind to try to look at, until I can't find my way around in it anymore, and I start over. That's fun to me. And no, it doesn't make a good broadcast. But like if I were to do a Minecraft play, it's like, all right, I spent 20 hours in Minecraft. This is what I did. Yeah, it's just going to be a great big fucking whoosh, flat plane at the bottom of the world of columns, just dizzyingly arrayed. Why? Because it's amazing that I can do this.
Yeah.
That's why. I'm still amazed that it's possible. It's like, what did I do? What was I playing? Oh, no, it was Enshrouded recently. I was telling Rachie about this. I just started digging because I could. And then I realized that 6 hours of digging a hole had come by, and I climbed myself out of it. 3 game days have gone by. I'm all dirty and swelly. My hair's all messed up. Nobody cares. I'm alone in this world. I could do that. I love that.
That's what you liked about 7 days.
It's what I liked about 7 days before they even took that away from me. No, you're not going to make me upset by agreeing with me, Rachel. You're right. That's what I loved when I was Dictator Johnson, down the bottom of the world, digging out ore because I knew where it was, and that was fun to me. But what I wasn't doing was looking for food and water that I couldn't afford for no fucking reason from the only guy in town. You're telling me this guy can spawn food and water, but he can't sell it to me for an affordable price? Okay. Shut up, Rect. No, you're not being cynical, CO. That's actually a better way to say it than what I am. It's a countdown. Yeah, how long can this maintain before it's just a grind that I have to suffer through now? MMOs went through that. Like, I played EverQuest and World of Warcraft for a real long time, and end game in those games is always a countdown to let's get the real grind going on. And that's where the conversation that Rachie and I were having hardcore and casual gamers, that's where it really hits that anvil, right? Like, that's where it really becomes a thing, where the hardcore, they want that countdown to be as short as possible, and I want that countdown to be as long as possible, because the games that turn out are really fun, like, I didn't play it, but Sly Cooper is fun because it stretches out the end game. When you're a young person, it stretches out that end game as long as you want it to go. And that's cool to me. I like that. That's what I like. But yeah, the countdown to the grind is a good way to put it, because like Final Fantasy or Dragon Quest, the first ones, there's no countdown. You're in the grind. Suck it up. This is what the game is. Deal. And then we lost that. I don't even know if I can articulate where we lost that along the way, where it became, let's do a bunch of mini games and side quests, and probably with 3D, probably by the PS3, really. Let's watch the game play itself. Or it's just mindless, whatever it is. I think that's a good way to put it, actually, is a countdown until the grind I have to suffer through. Because, like, you remember, no, maybe you've never watched this, Neebs and Conan. When Neebs plays Conan Exiles the first time, and he realizes what it's going to require him to make the green dye that he wants to make for his clothes is like 20 hours of grinding materials just to make this one vial of green dye. And it's like, okay, countdown over. This is no longer a cute little immersive survival sim. This is a grind for green dye for me.
Mm-hmm.
And so maybe it is cynical, and maybe there's nothing wrong with being cynical. Cynical doesn't have to be a synonym for negative. Maybe you are being cynical. Maybe you're seeing a thing for what it is, and what you're seeing, the thing for what it is in your value judgment, not something you want to spend money on. I love a grind. I want it to get there as quick as possible. I want to know what it is, and I want to know what my reward is, and I want to know that by the time I'm done with it, I'm going to be happy that I did it. I want that. Final Fantasy the First will always give me that. Final Fantasy the Second will always give me that. It will always be fun to make level 1 characters in Final Fantasy 2 and have them beat one another up for an hour at the beginning of the game. That shit is always funny to me. It's always funny. It has been funny to me since I was 15 years old. It will always be funny. It's so immersive. It's so real. How are we going to get better? I don't know. The goblins and the bees keep one-shotting us. Well, what if I punched you in the face? Plus 2 HP. Stand still, buddy. Punch you in the face until you're near dead. And 20 HP. That's what I'm talking about. That's hilarious. That's funny. Coming to town all bruised and bloodied and beaten. It's like, geez, you guys were really taking it out on those goblins. Nah, I was a goblin watching us do this for 3 hours. The goblins just start to watch after a while. They stand there. Yeah, they take their shots at you, but they can't hit you anymore after a while. It's fucking hilarious to me. But I role play it. I see it like a movie. And I'm being told that you guys don't. And so what I need to do is I need an animator. Because if I had an animator, I could take these little scenes that I see as movies that you guys don't see, and I could make them movies. and then the channel will blow up, and then I'll memes and all that. But until I have an animator, we're gonna spin our wheels for a while, and that's okay. That's okay. It really is. Coming to the conclusion that it's okay. I was talking, like, I had a couple of people, and I was talking about a little thing that I was dissatisfied about or that I didn't understand on the live stream at the end of Aincrad today. And I went, but it's just okay. And it just has to be okay. And both of them left. Now, probably they just assumed that the essay was over, so the video was over, but also they probably were dissatisfied by that. But what am I going to do? I'm just going to be forever mad? No. You move. Welcome back, Jar. Way back with Monster Hunter, this has a lot of Monster Hunter to it. I'm not going to say that it has the same length of fights or the same huge HP, but it has a lot of Monster Hunter's UI. The whole your items on the bottom, you have to scroll through them on the bottom, that whole thing, they borrowed that. I like that. I like the button mapping of that. I don't like that I'm not good at it, so I waste items a lot, but I like it. That is, Aincrad does. We're still technically talking about Aincrad.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just all over the place as far as I'm drawing a lot of reference points. Try to communicate as widely as possible. I really like it, and yeah, just like with Elliot, I am gonna get in my feelings about it, as far as how other people talk about it. The only journalism I see about Elliot anymore is just spoiling how to beat it for people. It's just Nintendo Power articles. I don't know if that bothers me or not. I don't know if Richie remembers what I mean by Nintendo Power articles. The way it used to be is in the journalism cycle, they would hype up a game, and then for the next few months after it, they would publish how to do the basics, and then the middle basics, and then how to do like a thing in the end game. Like, here's how you beat it. Like they would publish like little walkthrough tips and tricks. And so, if IGN is like trying to generate clicks with Elliot by reminding you how to do the basics of playing it, maybe it turns out that basic mechanic gets somebody to buy it for the first time. And that's what I was saying about spoilers, right? Like hearing what the game is about, hearing what the characters are talking about, none of that spoils the game. All of it makes it buyable. If you hear something interesting, you're like, oh, they talk about that in the game? That's why you buy the game. That's why that's especially why I advocate strongly for remaining engaged in the conversation with people who aren't pretending to have beaten a game already. But that's also what there's a character in Aincrad who represents that person, and it's one of the people that you can have in your party. She's the person who's not pretending like she's already beat the game, but she knows stuff about it, and she sells that. That's how she makes her living. That's how she stays alive. I think it's cool.
Mm-hmm. It's clever.
It's so clever. It's so thought. It's just so thought. It's so lived. You can see that the people who made it really did their best to role play it themselves. Roleplay has become vanishingly rare, and I'm just impressed now when I see it. It's cool. And I used to be really hyper conscious that I wasn't a guy who could roleplay, but I am. And if I am, you are. Right? I'm not some prodigy genius. Fine, I'm a wordsmith. I can write a sentence. But you don't understand, like, even some of my sentences, I see them as cliches, just standard fantasy prose. I don't see myself as some reimagining the game. I have a style. There's certainly a feeling. Oh, I wrote that. I wrote that, right? I stand out on the page, but I don't stand out on the page because I'm using symbols that nobody's ever used before. You know what I mean? I'm not using syntax nobody's ever used before. I'm not even like the scene that I read for you or that I published on Patreon this morning. It's like that's not even a scene that no one's ever told before, you know?
Yeah.
It's about style. It's about style. We've lost a lot of that too, style. But that goes back to watching Mr. S play Synthetic and White Knuckle. He plays these games, these factory dystopias, where a perfect, productive um, utopia becomes dystopic. And so they have voices playing things like, if you're not productive, you will be destroyed. If you're not productive at all times, you will be destroyed. If you cannot show that you have been productive, you will be destroyed. Like these things. But on some level, it's hard to admit that when I hear those voices, I agree with them. Go live, produce content, or be destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
It's depressing. It is. I having heard Rachel express it, what that means when she says it, and so that means she's just a girl in the world. She's not out here having idiosyncratic definitions of words like I do. So that means when she says it, that's what other people mean, and that means that people have a violent negative emotive reaction to the biochemical state of depression. They associate it with long-term prolonged sadness, and so on some level life is it's a manic, almost genetic, I don't know how to describe it, like hunter-gatherer collector searchathon for things that will keep the system buoyed above zero, so that depression isn't imminent or present. And so I don't know what to do with people like that. And I don't know what to do for people like that. It's like if you can't watch a tragedy, like a tragic movie, and not enter a biochemical depression wherein you're not eating, you're not sleeping properly. It's like, well, what I would say to myself if I found myself in that cycle is that I need to have more discipline, and I need to take more responsibility for my intake. It's like if I notice that when I eat razor blades, I'm pissing and shitting blood, I can take some responsibility and stop eating the razor blades. And so I can look at my consumption, and I can either change my consumption or I can change my reaction to it. And so I think that a lot of people, a lot of the people who have given me negative flack for liking like the blues, for liking minor music, liking metal, they're like, oh, that shit's so depressing. It's like, well, it doesn't have a biochemical depressive effect on my system, first of all. But I think a lot of the people who say that are people who just aren't in control. And so they're just trying to knock one of the legs, or one of the legs off of my chair. That's how I've arrived at it. I don't think that's necessarily right. But for the people who are like, oh, but talking about this at all is depressing, it's like, okay, but what do you want me to talk about?
I mean, I think it's relative, right, from person to person.
That's what I'm saying. If it's relative from person to person, then what do you want me to talk about?
I mean, you being who you are and doing what you do, if you're saying something that I find depressing, but you don't, and you're talking about it, then I just scroll away and find someone else to go listen to, right?
Right. And so
Because
when
it's
do you,
having an effect on me that is depressive,
well,
but it
that's
makes like metal. Let's take metal for example.
sure,
So some people think that metal can be very depressing. You get invigorated by listening to metal.
sure,
So I'm not gonna expect you to change who you are or talk about something different because I personally have a different.
sure. But if we're talking about the creative collective space of video games, and where video games and movies intersect, and you say, well, this whole conversation is depressing. Well, when are you going to hear it? When is it going to not be depressing? When's it going to get better? if you scroll away and you just never have it. And like, who are you going to go to? Like, we have a friend who's a good example of this right now. Who do you go to listen to them talk about it? Well, if you want to have the conversation, but you don't want to have it in the depressing way, you're going to go to the people who don't make you feel depressed about it. And what are those people going to tell you? Obvious lies.
Yeah.
So then when do you ever have the conversation?
Maybe you don't.
Right. And so when does it get better?
I mean, it depends.
Right. It doesn't is the answer. And so when are you not depressed by it?
If you're not exposed to it.
Right. Well, never is the answer. You're never not depressed by it.
Right.
Right. So it's like an ex-girlfriend.
It's like Mortal Kombat back in the time from that documentary we saw.
Sure.
The kids were loving it. They're like, oh yeah, you know, the blood and the guts is my favorite part, and the moms were horrified.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So like for those kids, that game mechanic was fun, and the reason why they were playing Mortal Kombat, while it's the same game, was giving the moms nightmares.
Well, sure, but they were also having the conversation.
Yeah.
They weren't scrolling away from the conversation because it was depressing that moms are having nightmares.
Yeah. And Mortal Kombat's still going strong.
Right. Because we had the conversation. In Congress, no less. Thank you, CO. Yes, discipline is an underrated virtue. It's about the discipline of the reaction, I think. If you're like, wow, this is depressing to me, it's like, okay, why? Why is it depressing? When does it stop being depressing? What do you do about it? If the answer is to scroll away, is that taking the depression? Is it actually like taking the depression on? Is it actually doing anything about it? It's like an ex-girlfriend or an ex-boyfriend. It's like, well, if you just delete all of their photos, is that actually dealing with the missing them? Is it actually dealing with the gaping hole in your life? Is it actually moving on?
They do say out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah, out of sight, out of mind. But is that moving on? Is that actually healing? Is that like if every time you see a picture of their face, it makes you depressed? Does deleting the picture of their face actually make you not depressed next time you see a picture of their face?
No.
No.
Maybe in time.
Maybe in time. Deleting it enough times, or not having it there, and then yeah, maybe in time you'll forget to have the reaction, but more likely you'll have an even more extreme reaction.
Yeah. I think these are all questions that have different answers depending on the person. That's what makes us all different people.
I don't know. I think that they don't. I think they have different methodological answers, but I don't think they have different answers.
Well, like my dad always says, you know, like it's mind over matter. If you don't mind, then it doesn't matter. So something that, you know, if there's something that's really depressing to me and I don't want to deal with it because it makes me depressed, is like what you just said about the razor blades. You know, I'm going to stop ingesting what's making me depressed so I don't feel depressed about it. Is that thing going to stop being depressing to me? No, it's always going to be depressing to me, but I'm going to take it out of the equation so I don't feel depressed about it.
And that's what I'm saying. Is it better to not feel depressed or to not be depressed?
Aren't they the same thing?
Are they the same thing?
I don't know.
Is it better to not feel pain or not be in pain? Is it better to not feel your broken leg or not have a broken leg?
Not have a broken leg.
It's better to not have a broken leg every single time. It's better to not be depressed. It's better if the situation weren't depressing.
Yeah.
And so you can get undepressed by desensitization, or you can get undepressed by fixing it. What did that woman do when she was bullied at work? Did she go, oh, this is depressing, I'm not going there anymore?
No, she fought back.
Yeah, she fought back. Actually. She didn't just get in some YouTube comment and say, fight for your consumer rights.
Yeah. It's almost time, baby.
It is almost time. And it blanked me out when I said that little bit about the consumer rights. If it's actually depressing to you, if it's actually, this is what I couldn't understand. I will always be of the opinion, and I will always fight this, that if it's actually depressing to you, you are either over consuming it or you have something that you need to deal with on the inside. I've always thought that. That's how I got here. That's why I'm the one on the stream. Because I'm the one who should be depressed. I'm the one who should be giving up. I'm the one who should be throwing his hands in the air. I'm the one who should be just unable to get up, just be lying around sleeping all the time. But if I can get up, I can find a way to do it. I don't know why it should be so difficult for literally anybody else.
People are different.
No, people aren't different. We're all the same. There are only about 7 personality types, and we know them all down to the 10th degree. We know.
It's in my opinion that people are different.
Well, sure, but your opinion can be wrong.
It could, but it's in my it's my opinion. It's in my mind. It's my opinion.
Sure, but what's actually different between you and Tom Brady?
A lot, everything.
You think?
Yes.
Do you really think that?
Yes.
A handful of things are different between you and Tom Brady. Tom Brady's dedication is really the only thing that's different. He dedicated himself to
His
a specific
passion.
thing. That passion comes with it, but you're still passionate about things.
Sure.
There are
Yeah.
things that you care about just as much as he cares about the trajectory of a football.
Yeah. Maybe. I don't know. I think me and Tom Brady are very different.
You're telling me that you don't have a very high opinion about the proper cut of salmon for your locks.
Well, yeah.
You're telling me that you don't know exactly the grain and exactly the trajectory and exactly the way that this style of food should be prepared in order for you to enjoy it. You're telling me that you're not passionate about that.
I am.
Okay, and so that when he says that a football should be thrown in a specific way to a specific guy in a specific timing with a specific accuracy, that it's fundamentally a different thing. His giving a shit about something is just it's a different thing than you're giving a shit about something. It's just a wildly, his isn't even a human behavior. It's some angelic behavior that you don't have access to, giving a shit.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
It's dedication. The difference between him and you is dedication.
Yeah, it is.
He dedicated himself to the thing about which he was passionate. And if you think that you're a loser, it's because you didn't just pick something and dedicate yourself to it. But you did.
I didn't know that salmon was a thing I could dedicate my life to. If it would
How
have
did
been.
you not know it was a thing that you could dedicate your life to?
'Cause I didn't
Someone had to
know.
make the first. Someone had to do the cut the first time. So someone has to keep doing the cut. How did it not occur to you that you
They
could
just did it. Okay, I grew up loving cheese. I was like 27 years old when I found out there's something called a cheesemonger. Why didn't I do that with my life?
Why didn't you?
Because I didn't know it existed.
You don't have to know.
I just didn't know it existed. I didn't think about it.
That's it.
I didn't.
You don't have to know it exists to give a shit about it enough to think about it for just a second.
Some people just accept things as they are because they are. They don't think about, oh my God, why is it like that? And how is it like that? And when is it like that? And how did it become like that? And where is it going?
I know. And I'm saying that the difference between me, the greats of our lived time, and everybody else is that everybody else doesn't think. Not for a second about anything.
That's what makes people different.
It's what makes them uniformly the same. When I keep saying that you're just a girl, you're just like everybody else, you're just average. It's that.
Mm-hmm.
It's the just absolute refusal to think about it for a second. And it's not that you lack the capability, it's the refusal.
I don't know.
See?
Whatever.
That's what I'm talking about.
I don't know. It's hard for me to explain. I don't know. It's hard for me to come through and explain what I'm actually trying to say to you, because I'm probably just gonna be wrong.
Because
So
I'm going to judo move you to get you to think about how thinking about it at all is a good place to be. And if you feel like, oh, well, thinking about this all it's just a waste of time, you're doing one of two things. You know that you're wrong, and you don't know the skill sets necessary in order to arrive at a right answer, or you know you're wrong, but you just want to fight the boss.
it's just my opinion. It doesn't have to be right or wrong. To me, in my head, it's the right opinion.
Well, sure, but now we're not talking about anything. You're just talking about your opinions, and what I can't say is, oh, but we have to stay on topic.
I'm just saying people are different. Okay, if
People
it's
aren't
depressing to
different.
someone, if something is depressing to someone, and something is not depressing to somebody else, they're just different people.
No, they're not different people. If you're watching TV and you see an ad for the little African babies and it makes you depressed, there are three things that you can do. You can keep watching the ad and you can feel helpless and you can feel depressed. You can stop watching the ad and you can move on with your life, or you can send money. It's that simple. Now you're
Okay.
not depressed anymore because you've done something about it. My point is that we're not all different. We're all the same in that we don't do anything about it. We're all the same in that we don't actually solve the problem. And that's why I like Aincrad. Is because my character's like, well, let's beat the game.
Right.
And everybody else is like, let's kind of stay inside and not get PK'd by people who aren't going to try to beat the game. I'm like, that's exactly what I was talking about with the depressing thing. It's like, I can talk about these things and I know that people are going to scroll away because it's just, oh, that's depressing. But what am I supposed to tell them? Well, the answer is to subscribe, buy in on the channel, remain in the community, and we'll figure it out together. We'll get enough money together to buy one of these production companies, to make a production company. I keep saying, I need cartoonists. I need animators. I need computer designers. I need this stuff. If we're going to say, oh, it's depressing, and just throw our hands up in the air, then we just get what we get. And if we don't want to just get what we get, we have to dedicate our lives to getting something else. And so if we're just going to be a passive consumer economy and we're just going to sit around and say, oh, well, we just get what's available to us, then we also just get to shut up, because you don't get to complain about what mom puts on the table.
Yeah.
If we're going to actually treat them like our parents, then we have to react to them like we would our parents. And that's not good enough for me. And so I ask again, what is actually depressing is going live time after time after time after time, doing things that you are dedicated to and that you are passionate about, and seeing zeros, 0, 0, 0, 0 for hours. That is depressing. That is actually chemically depressing. And so if I can do it, there is no reason. Complacency is fatal. Complacency is the loss of the human spirit, and the human spirit is the fight against ennui. So giving in to ennui, I find that depressing. And no, we're not all different. We're all the same. We're all the same. Usain Bolt is only different than I am in that he dedicated himself to running. And so his body can run like that. It's the only difference. I like Aincrad a lot. Aincrad, it leaves me enough room to think, to feel things, and to exist in a game world, to be me in a game world, to exist. Sure, there are 10,000 other people having the same experience. There are 10 other YouTubers live right now playing it. still. Further along in the game, maybe, even than I am. But that's not what I'm thinking about. That's depressing. It's going hollow, yeah. It's like I never understood philosophers will talk about how for human beings the weight of history, the knowledge of what's come before us is crushing for people. It's depressing. It sends people into self-destructive cycles. And I'm just like, why? It's just like, why? If you're the third generation of people who've built a town, how is the existence of the town a crushing weight? It's the only reason you exist. Like the world that we live in, I don't understand how it's a crushing weight on anyone's shoulder. It's the only way that you exist. Gravity isn't crushing you. The sky isn't crushing you. The only way that you're able to do anything that you do, to have any amount of thriving, is because you exist in things the way they are, because they've inherited as the way they are. So this wanting to start over impulse with civilization doesn't make any damn sense to me. I don't even love starting video games over. I do it a lot and I hate it every time.
Yeah. It's not easy.
Alright, well that's the show. I got a hangout to be at. I'm waiting on dude to get at me, but I got a show to be at, or I got a hangout to be at. I wanted to do a little talk with her because we were talking about that thing, and I realized that I was going to the depth that would make a good stream. So, thank you guys for being here. I'll be back around later. Ding dong.